Come down from Berkeley to LA to see Prabhupada, you would fall asleep in the Brahmacharya ashram to Vishnujana playing harmonium. And then you would wake up in the morning to Vishnujana playing harmonium. And you would never know if he ever even slept. I mean, maybe he did. I'm not saying he didn't sleep, but I mean, that was like how non-stop Krishna conscious Vishnujana was. You sense that about being in Vishnujana's presence, that he was just an otherworldly being. To see Vishnujana and Srila Prabhupada was the most wonderful thing to watch. And of course, everybody wanted to have Prabhupada lead kirtan when Prabhupada was there. But Srila Prabhupada would always want Vishnujana to lead kirtan. And when they would look at each other, you'd start crying sometimes just to see Prabhupada and Vishnujana looking at each other. There was just so much love, the way Prabhupada would look at them. You never saw anybody ever look at anybody like that. Vishnujana would always be emotional, get teary-eyed.
Winter of 1973, Vishnujana Swami's bus had burned down somewhere in America, and while Karanda and the BBT were building him a new bus, he came to sail down the Ganges and do Harinam Sankirtan and Prasadam distribution, and he had a slideshow to show these villages. And Vishnujana was amazing, doing kirtan through the villages. I mean, people were asking us to take their children with us, and they were just in shock. And we'd have a program every night with a big slideshow. I mean, and show them London Rath Yatra and San Francisco Rath Yatra. They were blown away that, their Hinduism was actually, spreading all over the world. Because we were the first Western Hindus they'd ever seen. And it wasn't just that we were a handful, we represented this movement with temples and festivals all over the world. So, of course, who's the person responsible for all this is Prabhupada. I mean, the villagers were just enormously impressed. Anyway, we sailed down the Ganges for 40 days and nights, and we got stopped in northern Bengal by a huge dam called Farakka Barrage. So then we took trucks down to Calcutta, where we met Prabhupada. So we had some kind of, little camera with us, but somebody had a shaky hand and it all came out looking like ghostly images, so we didn't have anything to show Prabhupada. But when we were reporting in the room about it, Vishnujana Swami said that we had distributed 500 sets of japa beads. And Prabhupada looked very concerned. He said, "You cannot do that. Now they think you are their guru." So he was a little upset that we didn't know these subtleties of Indian culture, that if you give someone beads and tell them to chant Hare Krishna, you've just given them Harinam initiation, and that's how they see it. So I think there must be a lot of villages along the Ganges where they have this memory of this bronze god from the west who looked like Lord Caitanya and gave them initiation.
This is the special net of Lord Caitanya, which has been emanated for the benefit of this age of Kali, which is made to make the unsurrendered surrender. Not by actual force, but by the force of attraction. This is Lord Caitanya's force. That his attraction is so powerful that no one can avoid it. You may avoid accepting Krishna as God. You may avoid accepting Krishna's Rasa Leela as transcendental, just as it's being done in India and all over the world. Everyone is thinking of Krishna's Rasa Leela as mundane, as something of the material world. So you can discredit Krishna in so many ways. But Lord Caitanya accepted the position of a sannyasi. In this way he demanded respect because of his renunciation. Not only did he accept the position of a sannyasi, but he performed Sankirtan. In other words, while being a sannyasi, he performed an activity which ordinarily sannyasis do not do. Namely, singing, which is one of the things forbidden for the Mayavadi sannyasis. Playing on musical instruments, which is another thing forbidden for Mayavadi sannyasis. And also this dancing, which is another thing forbidden for Mayavadi sannyasis. Plus he ate opulent prasadam, which is definitely forbidden for the Mayavadi sannyasis. So Lord Caitanya, although accepting the position of renunciation, he introduced a process for self-realization in the sannyas order, which could be acceptable even by a little child. Because a little child can sing, a little child can dance, a little child can play on musical instruments, and a little child can eat opulent prasadam. Therefore, although he demanded respect by accepting sannyas, although there's no way one can misunderstand his position as a great devotee and a great teacher, still he introduced a process which would attract even little children and also atheists, agnostics, and impersonalists of all categories. Namely this process of chanting, dancing, and distributing prasadam.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur stated that he was leaving this planet with his work unfinished.
So let us finish. We are descendants of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he kept unfinished so that we shall get the chance to finish it. That is his mercy. He could have finished immediately. He's Vaishnava, he's all powerful. But he gave us the chance. It is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mercy.
Vishnujana had asked Prabhupada on a morning walk on the roof of the building, how was Chota Hari Das delivered by committing suicide after his offense? So Vishnujana had been thinking about that question probably for days. He said, Srila Prabhupada, can I ask a question? And his voice cracked while he said it. And I looked up because his voice was so emotional. And Prabhupada looked at him and he said, yes. And then he asked him that question. And then Prabhupada said something to the effect that, yes, if a sannyasi does that, then it is better that he kill himself. And while he was talking, Vishnujana looked away. He looked off to the side. And then Prabhupada said, but that is an exemplary punishment. It is not meant to be taken literally. And he stopped and walked on. And Vishnujana never heard the last part of the answer. Something happened and he was feeling very guilty and bad about it. I marked, that's why he's been different since I saw him on the way from New York. He was pale and he was staring off into space and he looked completely distant and detached from his surroundings. And I had never seen him like that in years. He was always energetic, enthusiastic, had a lot of effulgence, and he was busy. I grew up with him. We played in Grandma's backyard from the time we were a year old together. He and I had a significant thing. We lived in the same house in the Haight-Ashbury. He joined 6 months before I did. If it hadn't been for him, I probably never would have become a devotee. The last thing Vishnujana said to me was, whatever you do, try to do something beautiful for Prabhupada. I told him I do. Anyway, I don't see Vishnujana again until the walk. After he asked that question, I marked, he's thinking about suicide. You have to talk to him. He didn't hear the end of the answer. So I'm thinking, as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to talk to him. By the time the crowd dispersed, we got down to the morning program, which was right afterward. I didn't see Vishnujana at the program. He disappeared. I never set eyes on him again. I never got a chance to talk to him.